Hello guys, it's me again. In this video I'm gonna make the review about the Razer Blackwidow, the mechanical gaming keyboard. First let's talk about the looks of the keyboard. I hope you can see in the video, but it's quite glossy. Not the keys, but the actual keyboard. It's quite shiny. And I have been using this for what, a week or so. And it was a bit dirtier than this, but my wife was cleaning my table today and she wiped it out. But as you can see, there's already and still some dust and some fingerprints here. And if you are worried about keeping everything clean, or if you are too lazy not to and you don't want to clean your keyboard every day, every time, it's a bit hard to keep this thing clean, I would say. So if you are really into that kind of stuff and take that into consideration, I would be careful picking this one. But let's talk about the keyboard now. This keyboard is a bit different from the other keyboards from Razer. To start off, it's a mechanical keyboard. Uh, what's a mechanical keyboard? Uh, Under every key, every key has its own uh, mechanism. On the other keyboards, for example, the membrane keyboards, it's like a rubber thing. I don't know if you guys open a keyboard ever. There's like a rubber thing under it, and it can be a little bit uneven. For example, if you press this key, it can be very easy to press, and then you can press this key, it will be not as easy to press as the other one. And those are the cheapest keyboards that in the market nowadays, the membrane keyboards, if I'm not mistaken. And then there are the scissor switch keyboards, which lots of laptops use nowadays. I don't know if every laptop uses it, but it's the kind of keys you can find in laptops. And it's a bit better than the membrane. You can type a bit faster. And then there's the mechanical keyboard, in which you have every single key has its own mechanism, its own thing, and you apply much less strength to each key. You can type much easier without making lots of strength. And every time you press a key, you can clearly listen to a little click. And if you press a bit too hard, you can listen to a clack, a click and then a clack. If you press not too hard, just a click. And if you press hard, the click and clack. And every time you press, after the click, the key comes back to place. So that's the basic difference between the mechanical keyboard and the other ones. And it's a bit heavy. I think it has 1 kilo and something. Of course, it has every key has its own thing. It's not a whole. Yeah, like every keyboard from Razer nowadays, you have the gaming mode. And in this keyboard, they instead of putting the separate things like in the Lycosa, you have the little LED screen here where you can press the things. And here they made something similar to the notebooks, where you can press they put an FN key. It's a function key. You can press the function key, and then you can press, for example, the gaming mode key, which I was talking about. Then here the gaming mode is on, which means that if you press the Windows button here, nothing happens on the screen. So if you are playing a game and you are using WSSAD and you use Control also and space bar and Alt or whatever, if you accidentally hit the Windows key, it won't minimize your game and fuck up your life, especially if you're playing online. So you can I just closed my screen, my tab here. So if you press by mistake the Windows key, nothing will happen. And I personally tend to leave the gaming mode key all the time. The gaming mode all turned on all the time because I never use the Windows key. If I want to change my something on the screen, I use Alt Tab. Here on the side, on the left side, there's the 5 macro keys, which you can assign different macros. If you don't know what a macro is, for example, uh, you can assign these keys to whatever you want. If you want to, I don't know, if you are a World of Warcraft player and Shift 7 casts a spell and you don't want to press Shift 7 to cast that spell. If you want to press just one button, you can make a macro and then you just press the macro 1 key and it will cast that spell instead of having to press the Shift 7 thing. Also here you have the media buttons. You press the function key and then each one of these, F1, F2, F3, F5, F6, F7, F8, they, well, if you are listening to music and want to make the volume lower or higher or then mute. And here in F12, if you press the function key and F12, look the light here, if you press function key and F12 you can change how the Razer logo goes. Right now it's pulsing, as you can see, like the mouse, and then it's off, and it's not too hard, a bit lighter, and then the strongest. I like to keep it like that. What else can I talk about? The physical things. I think that's it about the keyboard. Let's talk about the software. Like the mouse, you don't get any CD with your keyboard. You just go to Razer website and download the software. In here, you can assign keys, as you can read here. Assign keys. These are the macro keys. Before you can assign macro keys, you have to go and manage macros. But in here, you can actually change and map your keyboard the way you want it. Whatever you want to do, you can map and assign the keys here. If you want my I don't know how I would do that, but if I want my letter T to be an F, I'll click the T and then I would assign function, single key, and then I would press F here and then OK. Then my T would become an F if I would want that. So you can change basically everything from the keyboard and making macros. You have the 5 macro buttons here, but you can assign to different keys. You can disable key here. You can assign that key to launch a program and macros, and that's it. And here you can change your profile. Right now it's default, and I only have default because, well, I've only been playing Diablo 3 beta. I also have been playing some The Witcher 2 and Dead Island. I don't remember some games, but so far I haven't been playing any MMO, so I haven't had the need to use the macro keys so much. So I have only 3 macros for Diablo 3, and that's it. Here you can manage your profiles, make a new one, import, export, delete. And as the mouse, you can also turn on the auto switch. If I turn on the auto switch, you can, oh yeah, of course, to turn on the auto switch you need to choose an application. You right click here and then you can select an application. For example, let's say I have a World of Warcraft profile. So I would click here and choose the World of Warcraft icon, the launcher, World of Warcraft launcher. So every time I launch the game, and then I would of course have to turn the auto switch on, and every time I turn on the game, it would change from the default profile to the World of Warcraft profile, and vice versa. If I want to assign this to the default to go back when I open my browser, for example, I would assign it. And then here is the macro section. I currently have like Diablo 3.1, Diablo 3.2, and Diablo 3.3 macros. You can assign different macros here and then assign them to the keys. For example, you click here on the record button, and then after you click on the record button, you press the sequence you want, and after you're done, you press on the stop, and then you save that macro. For example, here, I don't know if you guys play Diablo 2 or 3 beta. If you hold shift and then you clicked and then you click your mouse button, you can cast your spells without having an enemy on the screen. It's like static casting. So I assigned that, and then I put it on the first macro button. So instead of having to hold shift and click with the key with the mouse, I just press the macro 1 button, and the character does cast the spell. And then you can assign the, after making the macros, you can go back to assign keys and assign it to the macro keys. I guess it was it for the Razer Blackwidow. It has been a really good keyboard so far. It's a bit loud if you guys are worried about not making too much noise. It's a bit of a loud keyboard, because, well, as I said, it has a click and then a clack. I don't know if you can listen well in the video. It's a bit loud, but, well, it didn't bother me so much because I use the computer in the living room. But if you are a gamer, you like to play during the night, and the computer is in the room, and your wife sleeping or your girlfriend sleeping, they probably won't like the noise. So I wouldn't go for this one, but it's a very good keyboard. It's not the ultimate version. The ultimate version has the backlight and a plug for earphones, and another there's one USB plug on the keyboard that's useful, but I wouldn't pay 40 euros just for the plugs. So I hope I didn't miss anything, I didn't forget about anything. I hope you liked the video, guys. If you liked, please comment, subscribe, thumbs up, and if you didn't, go on, say why. Thanks.